that brings me to the next speaker that you brought to campus, because I feel like he's a totally different kind of conservative than Ben Shapiro. You brought, I guess some would say, controversial comedian Owen Benjamin to campus, and he's been deplatformed by just about everywhere except for YouTube. But you brought him there, and how did that go?
Well, the interesting thing about Owen is that we couldn't host it on campus because no venue would approve it. And we couldn't host it almost anywhere in the city. We went through so many theaters, including one very popular theater, which did book it. And then as soon as they found out who he was, they sent me a long email talking about how he's a racist and how he cyberbullies the Parkland kids, and they're canceling it. So at some point, I was really torn on what to do because no venue would host it. And then the weirdest thing happened. My church essentially had a space where we can host it. So the Greek Orthodox Church in 2019 seems to be the least prudish organization that was totally okay to us hosting it. So we hosted the Owen Benjamin comedy show in the Greek Orthodox Church here in Vancouver.
Oh, that's so fascinating that the social justice left, who believe like in all manner of sexual strange things are perfectly okay and behave however you like and everything is fine and everything goes. They really are the new Quakers when it comes to ideas. And the Christian church is the one that says, yeah, show up, say what, do your thing, talk about whatever you want. It's so weird how the switch has flipped.
Yeah. It's happened. I mean, I remember growing up, I remember the days when like Fox News was kind of the prudish organization where they're going against video games or, anything that was kind of edgy. And then I think at some point, it must have been in like 2012, 2013, 2014, there was some kind of gradual switch where I think essentially the left has had power for so long that they kind of determined the zeitgeist or the Overton window. To such a degree where now you have this new generation of kids coming up, the Generation Z, that is like projected to be the most conservative generation since World War II. So that's kind of interesting to me that there has been a switch. There's been a cultural switch where the people in control are now leftists. And ironically, the place where we're hosting really, really, really raunchy comedy shows are Christian churches. And that's just where we are in 2019. So,
I was talking about this with my son when I wasn't scolding him for for whatever 20-year-olds need to be scolded for when they still live under your roof. I was talking about how I generally don't disagree with a lot of the mindset of the 17-year-old boy. The people in power generally suck. Your teachers quite often are stupid, or at least they're trying to brainwash you. And at some point, kids sort of figure that out. And I don't like being told what to do either. And, I suppose my best advice for young people, that Generation Z, that's probably going to change the world, is just be patient, because one day you're going to be the idiots in charge. And, I really feel like the Generation Z, it's more, they don't like being told what to do. And they're embracing that style of conservatism as society, we need for them to hang on to that, because that's the only way these onerous regulations on speech and behavior are ever going to be repealed, is if we have a generation of people who are going to rise up and say, yeah, you're not telling me what to do anymore.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, I think the funny part is that the groups of people who are doing the most for conservatism, in a way, is the radical left, because Generation Z is growing up watching these videos on YouTube of protests where you'll have someone who's conservative and very reasonable, and then you'll have someone who's just screeching with purple hair. And they grow up watching that, and it is low-hanging fruit. And so in a way, these crazy protesters and these activists, they're doing us a great service by being completely insane.
That's an excerpt from my weekly show, The Gunn Show. It airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Each week, I bring you an informal interview with an interesting newsmaker or citizen activist you might not have heard of, but who is making a big difference in Canadian politics. And we'll talk about issues in a way you'll never see done in the mainstream media. To subscribe, go to therebel.media/shows.